Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is here, guys. Are you excited? Ant-Man 3. Did you like the trailers? Yes, it opens up this weekend, and the early buzz is in, and it's kind of mixed. Mixed is putting it lightly. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, along with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, explore the quantum realm, where they interact with strange creatures and embark on an adventure that goes beyond the limits of what they thought was possible. Now, if you saw my initial reaction to this movie when I came out of the theater, I was kind of like, oof, I don't know, guys. I don't know. And I think that's going to be kind of like the theme of what most people are going to be feeling from this. Because as I said, it was a very visually effects heavy movie, and it relied on a lot of green screen stages that just kind of like really didn't look good. Like, yeah, it was not visually impressive. And everybody seems to be trying to hunker in or attach themselves to at least one positive thing, and they'll say that, oh, it was the father-daughter story in there that was really good. Well, no, it really wasn't. She was off doing her own thing. They don't really explain how... Some people may complain that it's all about Janet and Michelle Pfeiffer's movie. She's kind of like the crux of what happens, what begins the events with Kang. Everybody praises Kang in this, Jonathan Majors. I am a Jonathan Majors fan. I did watch his movies from last year, Devotion and stuff like that. And I know that he can act. But my major criticism right up out of the gate, yeah, he's good. He is good. But I felt like they were holding back. Like, they were like, we don't want to show you how powerful and how evil he is right away, because we want to save that for the Avengers movie. I felt like they were really, really holding back, because they kept on making statements like, yeah, I killed some of them before, I did this before, and it's kind of like, how many times are you going to say that? And it felt like you guys were holding back, and I wanted to see him be in this one. And while he does throw down at times, it's just lackluster. Lackluster is the best way to describe this experience, because it's just 2 hours of kind of like, as I said, that CGI kind of wash that doesn't really resonate all that well. When you look at it, it's kind of like, okay, it doesn't really feel like it's real. And yeah, James, I understand that it's supposed to be like the quantum realm and everything like that, but it's cartoonish, right? Very cartoonish. And you can tell that, like, even some of the sets were like, yes, you can see where the set ends and where the CGI screen goes up. It doesn't feel tangible. It doesn't feel like it's real, like any of this is actually really there. Like the visual effects are way subpar, and it bums me out. Bill Murray shows up in this, and if you know anything about the character from the comics, he was kind of like a one-off, and I got shades of Zombieland from him. If you've seen him in Zombieland, they almost do the same kind of thing in here. I'm not going to spoil that too much, but just know that it's long. The story is kind of like clunky. It has really choppy edits in it, for sure. Like, you'll be going along with one storyline and then it just cuts to something else completely, and it's like, what the heck? I wanted to know more about this, and that's what you find in this. And MODOK, no, man, it didn't work. It didn't work. If I saw those dailies, or like the finished visual effects, what they were looking like, I'd be like, guys, we got to pivot. We got to pivot from MODOK. No, doesn't work. So let's go over to the Rotten Tomato meter and see what people are saying. As of 11:11 on Friday morning, that's not good. 48% by the critics, 84% by the audience. So the people that saw it on Thursday night previews dug it, at least. But I think they're being a little bit more generous than they will lead on. The critics, 48%. I felt like this was just, it was setting stuff up for future movies. And that's all that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was for me. It was just setting stuff up. It didn't really feel like a conclusion to an Ant-Man trilogy or anything like that. It didn't. It just felt like it was just another installment in the MCU, as if it were like a TV show series. And that's not what you want in a movie theater. That's not what you want. And that's what we got. That's what you're going to get when you go out and see Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So let's go and take a look at some of what the snapshot reviews say and see if we agree with any of them. I'll take a look at a positive one and a bad one here. From Chicago Sun-Times, Richard Roper, okay. He liked it. He says, Quantumania is a mid-tier MCU film with decent enough battle sequences and some nifty visuals, but we're here mostly for the popcorn movie enjoyment of watching Paul Rudd at what the heck? Okay, and do their thing. And once again, the little guy and gang come through. So you're just looking, felt like it was pulling his punches. Let's take a look at a bad one here from ABC News. The once playful runt of the Marvel litter has come down with a case of bloated excess. And despite likable Paul Rudd as Ant-Man and a POW villain in Jonathan Majors, the third time is not the charm for this sequel that ignores its own rule. Less is more. Yeah. Observer says, ultimately one of Marvel's dullest and most unnecessary movies to date. Yeah, because it didn't really do a good job of explaining Kang, I felt. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in spoilers, because if you learn more about what Kang is, it's kind of like, well, then what's the point of this one, right? It's like, oh, God. Yeah, that's what you're going to feel. You're going to come out of this one going, oh, what was the point of that? And that bums me out. That truly bums me out, because I was, as I said, I really liked the trailers for this. I did. And most people are talking about Majors is charismatic, even in a bad review here, right? They like Kang. They like Jonathan Majors as Kang. But he just didn't seem to be super villainous. He didn't really do anything in this one. He built his army, and you heard tales that he did all these bad things, but we never got to see him do all the bad things, right? And they're trying to hold that back, and it sucks. It sucks. No matter how many civilizations King destroys, you want him to win. Well, yeah, you don't know because he has kind of like a monologue in there where he sort of tries to reveal what was his motivations, why he feels like he's got to go out there and destroy timelines and the Avengers and stuff like that. But it's just CG goop on screen, and it's kind of like I said this yesterday in my straight out of the theater reaction. You really just felt like they were on the set, and I compared it to Avatar: The Way of Water, where when you watched that movie in the theater, you actually felt like these CG people were actually there. Avatar: The Way of Water was a monumental step forward for visual effects. And even like if Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania didn't even have half of the quality of the visual effects that Avatar: The Way of Water did. Sorry, those are kind of like bad freeze frames of it. But yeah, it's not good. And the new daughter casting, how do I feel about that? There was a scene in one of the trailers that said, "I'm sorry, Cassie," or something like that, and he's drowning, right? Sorry that I failed, or something like that. Sorry, spoiler, but it's not in the movie, unless I missed it. There was an angle there where if they had pushed the envelope and they'd done something extremely powerful and potent with this character, like he maybe made a sacrifice, then this movie would have been a whole lot better. but they set up storylines that just don't really pay off. That's a great way of summarizing my thoughts of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It sets up a bunch of storylines that don't pay off within the better of the movie. They wrap up. They just don't pay off. It's kind of like, you want a ham sandwich? Okay, there's the ham sandwich. But it's not like, it's the most awesomest ham sandwich, and when you eat this thing, it's going to make you go, oh yeah. It's kind of like, oh, there it is. There's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. There it is. What? Hey, you're MCU fans, right? You like it. You're supposed to like it. Come on, hit that thumbs up button. Come on. It's like, no. It's just something that I don't really want to revisit ever again. It's... All right, what would I give it out of the scores? Well, I don't think I would give it as low as the critics. I wouldn't give it a 4.8. I'm definitely not as high as the audience score. I expect that audience score to come down a little bit, actually, as more people go out to see it this weekend. And I can't wait to see what it is on Monday, because when we do the box office report on Monday, we'll go back and we'll take a look at what the tomato score started to even out as. I would probably have to give it a 5.5. So I am a little bit more generous than the critics, but it's mostly because of Jonathan Majors. Yeah, 5.5 for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. What do you guys think about it? Are you going to go out and see it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Is this a great, exciting opening for Phase 5 of the MCU? No, it feels like it's still leftovers from Phase 4, where you don't know where it's going. How does this tie into the next movie? It doesn't. So there you go. That's all I gotta say for Ant-Man. Get me out of here. Okay, guys. Well, let's take some live comments about what you guys were saying there in the comments for this.